Before we get started reviewing this new magnetic stand for iPads, I did want to shout out the winner of last week's video from the espresso display giveaway. So shout out Derek for leaving a comment on that video. I'm going to reach out to you on Twitter in order to find out all your information and get it sent to you. But if you guys want to find out how to win one of these, then stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end. I don't really care. Because after we're done with this video, we're going to find out how you guys can get one of these for your iPad. But without further ado, let's see why this new magnetic iPad stand and what the differentiators are compared to the rest of the stands that are out there, because this one, I'm really liking what you get out of it. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's start with the unboxing experience. So in the box, you get everything that you need for the stand, including how to put it together, because it does come in 3 different pieces. You have the actual base, which is a nice heavy like aluminum base, which I really like. Like the second you grab this box, you know it's gonna be quality. And then you also get the actual stem itself, and then the actual magnetic placeholder to put your iPad on. And then to put together, it's very simple. You just have to attach the stand to the actual stem with 3 little screws that it includes, and it includes the Allen wrench, so you don't need to have any tools or anything like that. And then to put the magnetic piece, it's actually a little bit unique. Normally it involves another screw with all the other magnetic stands that I've used, but this one you kind of just like put it into place and then tighten it a little bit, and then you're all set up, and voila, you have a brand new stand for your iPad. So from a build quality standpoint, this thing is very quality. Like it screams Apple. It screams like it should be in an Apple store, like holding up an actual iPad on display in the Apple store. Because again, it's made out of pure aluminum. It's cool to the touch. It is very heavy. So I wouldn't probably bring this with me wherever I go, but this is gonna be great to put on your desk and have your iPad kind of at eye level when working at it, especially if you have an iPad only situation, or if you're using your iPad maybe in the universal control type of fashion, which I usually interchange. I go between using the iPad full time and then also sometimes using the macOS computer when I need to, and then using universal control to go back to the iPad. But from a build quality standpoint, it's everything that you would want. And what really sets this one apart is a couple of things. The first one is that it works with multiple sizes. So a lot of the magnetic stands that I've gotten in the past, you need to get the precise one for your precise iPad. But with this one, it'll work with pretty much any of the new form factors. So any of the new iPad Pros from 2018 and higher, so the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. It works with the iPad Air 4 and 5, and I believe that's it, because the iPad mini is, I think, a little too small for this one. But the iPad Air 4 and higher, and then also the iPad Pro from 2018, both the 11 and the 12.9-inch and higher. And the reason it's able to do that is because they forewent the idea of having to have that camera cutout. So they put the magnets kind of on the bottom 3/4 of the iPad. So if you have a 12.9-inch iPad, it's gonna fit perfect. So it'll easily fit both the 12.9-inch iPad and the 11-inch iPad Pro, because it doesn't rely on the magnets from that camera bump or having to perfectly fit into the camera cutout, because honestly, they just got rid of that top kind of quarter of the iPad in order to have the magnets be a little bit more universal when using it with all your different iPads. Another thing that I really want to mention about this is just how strong the magnets are. So they're advertising this to have 88 magnets built into the stand itself, which is a ton of magnets. Like this has to be the strongest stand that I've personally used. And this is the first time I've actually used a stand to do my little scientific shake test where I try to shake off the iPad without putting my hand underneath it. Normally, when I'm testing out these stands, I like to be a little bit careful and put my hand underneath just in case the iPad does fall down. But the moment you put this iPad on, the magnets are so strong that you feel the immediate like secureness, if that's even a word, of the iPad and the magnet. So you never have to worry about this thing falling off. I've never had an issue with it. I've been using it as my main stand for about 2 weeks now, and I've been absolutely loving it. And then when it comes to the hinge mechanism, it's also a little bit different. Normally it involves kind of like a dual hinge system where the 2 axes, and then you also just have 1 rotational axis. But this one's almost like a kind of like a hip bone and a leg bone in that little like joint right there. So it's a little ball that kind of goes in there, and it gives you full rotational power of 360 degrees when you're looking at the iPad directly. And then it doesn't fold all the way back, but it does fold like 130 degrees. So if you do want to kind of prop it back a little bit, or maybe bring it all the way down if you want, it gives you kind of the same range of motion that something like the Magic Keyboard would give you from that axis. But from a rotational standpoint, you get the full 360, which I absolutely love. And there aren't any click points at the 90, 180, like 270 and 360 points, so it's very free flowing. So you can actually have your iPad in any orientation that you want. If you want to have it diagonal, by all means, throw it on diagonal, but it's also very sturdy. So like wherever position you put it at, it's gonna stay at that position and it's not gonna move at all. And now I do wanna talk about real quick how I've been personally using the stand. Like I mentioned earlier, there's 2 main functions of how I've been using the stand. The first one is when I go full iPad only and I just wanna focus on, let's say, editing a video. So I'll get my external keyboard, my external mouse, and maybe even my external trackpad, and then just have this propped up right in front of me, because the actual distance and the height of the iPad is a perfect height, so you don't have to kind of crane your neck at all. So whenever I'm editing a video, let's say, or I need to get 1 task done or maybe 2, I go with the iPad Pro only situation and just kind of put my headphones in and go to work. But then also I have it kind of sitting on the right-hand side of my external monitor, so when I'm using Mac OS and using universal control, it's also staying at a good enough level compared to the actual desktop monitor that I have being powered by my Mac OS computer, my MacBook Air. So being able to use it in both fashions, and then also being able to use it in portrait and landscape mode whenever I want, and especially with universal control, like I'm telling you guys, universal control has been a godsend, and I absolutely love it, even on the beta softwares. Like I'm on Mac OS beta and iPad OS beta, and it's been working great. So those are the two main ways I've been using it, as a standalone iPad stand to really get some work done, but then also to kind of get it at a better level and a better eye level, so I'm not craning my neck when I'm using it as a external display for universal control. But that's pretty much gonna do it for this video, everybody. But like you guys saw, this is an absolutely great stand. It checks all the boxes that I would want, which is great build quality, enough rotation and customization for me to be able to put it whichever way I want, and the magnets. The magnets are extremely strong on this. You never have to worry about the iPad falling off or it getting a little bit older or anything like that, because the magnets, they're here to stay. But if you guys did make it to the end of the video, I did want to give one of these away because they were sent to me. I got 2 of them and I'm more than happy to send them away. This stand is only going to work with, like I mentioned, the iPad Air 4 and higher, and then the 2018 11-inch iPad Pro and the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro and higher. So if you guys have one of those and you want to grab one of these, I'll announce a winner in a week. All you have to do is leave a comment. You don't need to subscribe. You don't even have to like the video if you didn't like it. If you just made it to the end and entered the giveaway, by all means, just leave a comment with your Twitter handle, and then I'll be able to reach out to you via Twitter in a week to send one of these out to you. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys did make it to the end, leave a little dolphin. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll continue to do more and more of these giveaways as stuff comes into the studio, and give back to you guys for giving me your time and always watching and supporting on the channel. But if you guys made it to the end, click on one of these videos right here if you want to learn a little bit more on iPad OS or maybe some Mac OS accessories that we've been playing with.